Yeah, beautiful and exciting morning it is. Once again on the Bumper Breakfast, we're glad to be here with you. And we're so excited because the month of October is quickly running to a close. And of course, me, I have a celebration, a party rice to go eat today. So, of course, I'm super duper, like Kemi will call it, excited. My name is still Miss Yojo, and this is the Bumper Breakfast Show. You get to watch us Mondays through Fridays on MITV from the hour of 8 o'clock all the way till 10. And you will definitely be enjoying different segments of the program from show to show to show to show. So you must sit back, relax, and peradventure you'd like to go out of your house. Don't forget you can watch us live on your Facebook page, or you join us on our website www.mitvonline.ng. And every Monday morning, my sister from another mother joins me on the table. We're the brown girls of MITV, and her name is Kemi Omasho.
Good morning, Teresa.
Kemi, good morning. How are you?
I'm fine, thank you.
Hope you're doing well today.
Yeah, by God's grace, I have no option. I have to be fine.
You have to be fine, right?
I just have to be fine.
So Kemi went through some very funny related occurrence last week. I wouldn't want to call it a tragedy because it's just one of those things that you get to go through. And I must tell you that some people who thought they had brain entered the house in the middle of the night and decided to rob her. But, you know, we thank God for life. Ultimately, we thank God because they did, but God replaces. So
Definitely, and life must go on. It's not an easy thing. First time experiencing such in my life. It's not so easy. Yes.
Omolopa, you experienced it. you know how it is. You can now look back and say, "Daddy, is that how you face thieves? They attacked us. I saw gone."
It's really crazy, but I thank God for life, and life must go on.
Apart from the movies, was that the first time you were seeing the life go?
Yes, that's the first time. Despite the fact that I'm proud that my dad is a police officer and I have police officers surrounding me. You know, my dad don't bring gun to the house, so probably he does and I don't see it. But then
You've never seen it.
I've never seen it. That's the first. No, okay. Let me say yes, I've seen on the road.
Of course, we know policemen carry on the road. I'm saying
on the road,
like in close proximity.
Close. Yes, that's the first time. But then I thank God for life, you know. It's really a tragic experience and very traumatic. I can't, like, for days, I can't sleep alone. You know, it's been crazy. I almost wanted to tell you I'm not going with this for the Bible.
I will come to the house and flog you out of the house.
You just have to be here, you know. It's okay, it's fine. We bless God for life.
Well, thank God for life. All right, so we're looking at the front page of the papers today, and of course, the front page of The Guardian is where I will start this morning. I'm back to Guardian every morning. Last week I did do Guardian first, but today I just go straight for The Guardian newspaper. Ethnic fault lines show as the IGP dissolves SARS. IGP bows to pressure. The North and the South disagree. Wizkid leads London jubilation
My name is Fatima Yusuf, a polio vaccinator working in Lagos. The challenge we face is mainly misunderstanding. Some say because the children receive routine immunization at health center, they don't need the one we give at home. Some won't go to the health center to receive routine immunization because they receive the polio vaccine at home. But both are important. Look at the dirty environment, bad sewage disposal, people defecating openly, contaminated water. Everything needed to spread polio is all around all of us. Polio can lead to paralysis and even death. You can't even say prevention is better than cure. Because for polio, there is no cure, only prevention.
I'm here to tell you that polio is like the rain that doesn't befriend anybody. The only cover against polio is for every child under the age of 5 to receive the polio vaccine. Your child is at risk because polio no dey look face. Polio doesn't discriminate.
Protect your child. Get them immunized in the hospital and at home.
Yes, we're back here, and apologies, we had to go on that very abrupt break. But yes, we were looking at the front page of the papers today, and ethnic fault lines show as the IGP dissolves SARS is the first story. IGP bows to pressure, North-South disagree. Whiskey leads London jubilation, disbandment, cosmetics says Uriwa. And you have Senator Ebikole Amosun, the Lagos State Governor, Babajide Sanwo-Olu, Ondo State Governor-elect, Rotimi Akeredolu, his wife, Betty Akeredolu, the Deputy Governor-elect, Lucky Ayedatiwa, his wife, Joy, Ekiti State Governor, Kayode Fayemi, his counterpart from Kogi, Yaya Bello, Osun Adegboyega Oyetola, and after Akeredolu was declared the winner in the Ondo State gubernatorial election at Owo Town yesterday. History repeats itself. Akeredolu wins in divided Ondo South and Central. Buhari, APC, Lawan, others hailed the election, congratulate Governor. Yaga Africa Fault poll says votes traded between 1,000 and 7,000 naira. Akeredolu thanks Buhari and Tinubu and the citizens of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, particularly people from Ondo State. 7 feared dead, others injured as another building collapses in Lagos. Truck crushes 2 downs, 5 others in Benue. Gunmen killed 12 in Kaduna, adopt Abuja Council chief. Others, Africa must embrace digitization, cheaper energy to overcome COVID-19. Those are the stories on the front page of the Guardian newspaper this morning. All right, let's
All
take a
right,
look at the Punch.
moving ahead on the news, the newspaper review this morning. Moving ahead to the Punch newspaper. The banner headline says APC praises peace, moves for Akeredolu's re-election. Governor wins 15 local governments. Floor deputy in home base, Jegede wins Akure councils. And the right also says, willing party says reconciliation fruitful. PDP campaign, council keep mum. Okay, Apapa gridlock, maritime workers issue 21-day ultimatum and threatened strike. All right, NSAS campaigners demand executive order. This band is called IG Sax Unit. Please pledge new arrangement against violent crimes. Aso Rock budget 10.2 billion naira for electrical maintenance and renovation. FG Labour resume electricity petrol price hike talks. All right, here we have a picture story on the front page of the Punch newspaper here. Ondo State Governor-elect Mr. Akeredolu, Rotimi Akeredolu, Deputy Governor-elect Mr. Lucky, and supporters of all the Progressive Congress during a victory parade in Ondo State after Akeredolu was declared the winner of the state governorship election on Sunday. Yeah, that's the picture story we have here. On the front page of the Punch newspaper, we can also see the Ondo State governorship election result on the front page. Here we also have NCCC prosecute 7 full SIM card offences. Kaduna urges scam as gunmen kill village head and 12 others. Hefty begins probe of UI's 300 level students' death. Court summons Odua's GMD, others for contempt. 7 killed, 10 rescued as Lagos building under construction collapses. Hollywood's vehicles stolen in Lagos hotel, phase 8. All right, that's all we have on the front page of the Punch newspaper. Back to you, Mason.
All right, so take a look at the Nigerian Tribune this morning. IGP dissolves SARS, reps to proceed with police reforms, aftermath of the Nigerians' protest. NHRC, Bakari demand prosecution of criminal elements. Reps to meet with NBA, NHRC, CSOs this week. Police disperse protesters with hot water, tear gas in Abuja. Gomosho balls again, 2 fed shot. Shong's palace vandalized, minister rescued. Mother of Isiak Jimo recounts son's last moments. With 292,830 votes, Akeredolu defeats Jegede again. Victory record of hard work, says the governor. Buhari others congratulate him. Nigeria to maintain Buhari Osinbajo with 12.2 billion naira in 2021. 3.2 billion goes to trips, 296 million naira on foodstuff. That's crazy. I don't get this. Are you talking about Aso Rock? Are you talking particularly about the office of the president and the office of the vice president? Or you're talking about salaries? Very, very insightful, very funny headline it is. But of course you can delve into the story and read much more. I'm sure the story will tell you a bit more. 6 dead, 8 injured in another Lagos building collapse. And coincidentally today we're talking about buildings and housing, so we get to take a look at it. Bandits kill 12 in Kaduna community. Those are stories on the front page of the Nigerian Tribune today.
All right, finally, on the newspaper review, and we are going to be taking a look at the nation's newspaper. And then the ballot lines is still all about Akeredolu in the state governor re-elected. We have Akeredolu, it's awesome. Yeah, it's a picture story here saying that it's a sweet victory as he was announced the winner of the Ondo State governorship election. All right, still on the front page of the nation's newspaper, we have big support for sack of SARS by IG and reforms coming. New electricity tariff suspension extended. Investor awaits third quarter result. And village head 12 others killed in attacks on Kaduna villages. All right, still on the front page of the of the Nation newspaper, we have the Ondo governorship election result on the front page also, and governor re-elected in a massive Penn State victory. Buhari APC governors were excited as regards the victory. That's what we have on the Nation newspaper.
Yes, that's it on the headline review this morning. We take a break. When we return, Kenya Diaga will be giving us the business report and what our expectations should be from the Nigerian Stock Exchange for this week. We'll be back.
Mr. Femi, your script.
You know, the craziest thing I've ever done in my life was slapping my father.
Really?
Yes. I slapped my dad.
Wow.
The famous actor Adiba Salami, known as Ogabelu. I slapped him. Yeah. For inside film. No look me like that. So. But as for me, it doesn't compare to the best that I've done by making sure all my children are protected against polio. Polio no dey send now. Polio no go talk say this one na Femi Adebayo pikin make I leave am for where. So if I can protect my children against polio, you go. Don't allow polio slap your child so that that child will not come back to slap you in future. Make sure your child gets all vaccines against polio. Daddy, no vex for that slap. Oh, now director talk say make I do am. But if acting talk say make I do am again, I go do am.
Protect your child with routine immunization and supplementary immunization campaign.
In these uncertain times, one thing's certain. We're in this together. So Clean Protect, the antibacterial detergent that removes 99.9% germs while it cleans. Because germ-free clean is the real clean that we all need. Do your best to protect your family. So Clean Protect.
Welcome back. It's still the bumper breakfast, and Kenny Adiaga joins us this morning with the business report. Hi, Kenny. Good morning.
Good morning, Tomisi. How are you today? And how was your weekend?
Yes, I'm doing very well, and my weekend was beautiful. Many thanks.
Great. The weekend also was good for some investors last week, as I expect that some of them would have made some profits from their transaction last week when we consider the volume of transaction and the value of those transactions. And of course, the market was awash with demand. That is, people were bidding for stocks, and so also people were selling. And this can be attributable to some results that came in and information that some investors may have pertaining to some of these companies that are listed on the floors of the Nigerian Stock Exchange. And of course, because of that, the volume and value of transactions were up when compared to the previous week's transaction figure. For instance, last week investors traded 3.14 billion shares valued at 35.37 billion naira exchanged in 35,099 deals, in contrast to the previous week's transaction figure of 1.53 billion shares worth 16.9 billion naira done in 17,882 deals. The financial service sector continued to dominate activities in the market as a total of 2.32 billion shares were traded worth 25.82 billion naira, exchanged in 21,306 deals, contributing 74.05% and 72.99% to total market transaction in volume and value terms, respectively. The oil and gas industry recorded 200.56 million shares worth 1.0 billion naira, exchanged in 1,977 deals, while the industrial goods recorded 149.2 million shares valued at 3.63 billion naira, exchanged in 2,991 deals. Top trades in the market last week were that of Zenith Bank PLC, FBN Holdings PLC, and United Bank for Africa PLC. For these three companies, transaction accounted for 1.24 billion shares valued at 15.72 billion naira, exchanged in 9,774 deals. Otherwise, 39.36% and 44.45% to total market transaction in volume and value terms, respectively. The exchange-traded product also recorded some transaction as 1.05 million shares were traded, valued at 4.84 billion naira, and this was done in 33 transactions, in contrast to the previous week's transaction figure of 192,781 units of exchange-traded products that was traded, valued at 1.59 billion naira, and this was done in 24 transactions. While the federal government bond recorded 79,691 units traded, valued at 108.24 million naira, exchanged in 23 transactions, as against the previous week's transaction figure of 103,480 units of federal government bond, valued at 123.51 million naira. This was done in 24 transactions. Meanwhile, the All-Share Index and market capitalization of listed equities on the floor of the Nigerian Stock Exchange last week appreciated by 5.30% to close the market at 28,415.31 basis points and 14.85 trillion naira market capitalization, respectively. Beginners last week stood at 53 as against the 36 gainers that was recorded the previous week. 14 losers last week compared to 15 losers the previous week, while 96 stock prices were unchanged last week as against the 112 stock prices that were unchanged the previous week. The gainers was led by Etna Oil PLC with gain of 89 kobo to close at 3 naira 63 kobo. International Breweries PLC went up by 82 kobo, closing at 4 naira 72 kobo. African Prudential PLC recorded 98 kobo gain to close at 5 naira 73 kobo, and Transnationwide Express PLC was up by 15 kobo to close at 92 kobo. From the losers table, we have UACN Property Development Company PLC topping the table, the price depreciation of 11 kobo to close at 81 kobo. Triple G and Company PLC lost 4 kobo to close at 36 kobo. Deep Capital Management and Trust PLC was down by 3 kobo to close at 27 kobo. And Academic Press PLC lost 2 kobo to close at 27 kobo. Meanwhile, some market observers and participants have said that for any good investors who want to take position this is the best time for them to take position in some stocks that are regarded or are called as penny stocks, which are likely going to be yielding good results at the end of the year and possibly when the companies declare their results. And of course, this was as a result. This is as a result of some information that was gathered in respect to some of these companies. And of course, we look at the NASD OTC market platform also, where the figures shows that investors last week traded the closing figure last week shows that the NASD OTC market platform depreciated in terms of the index and market capitalization. For instance, the index fell by 1.53% to close the week at 723.13 basis points, as against the previous week's closing figure of 734.39 basis points, which closed the previous week index and which closed at the index week. And of course, in terms of transaction, that is volume of transaction, investors lost 8.27 billion naira in value of transaction, while the market capitalization of the listed equities on that floor closed at 531.19 billion naira when compared to the previous week's transaction figure of 539.46 billion naira. An indication that the market capitalization of listed equities on that floor also depreciated. Of course, that is not to say that the market for any NASD OTC market platform is not in proper shape. But what that means is that investors look at information available to take position, either to sell or buy. And looking closely to some information that was sent to the NASD OTC market platform, where we have the VFD Group PLC ranking top among 5 most traded securities by volume, and Afriland's Properties PLC as the 5th most traded stocks by volume of transaction. From all indication, the best that the NASD could offer, according to an observer, is for small and medium-term investors to come and take position in this platform, because, for instance, they claim that this platform actually is meant for small and medium-scale companies, which are startups, which are coming up and can grow to the level of big companies such as those that were listed on the floor of the Nigerian Stock Exchange. The advantage there is the fact that the requirement for listed companies on NASD OTC market platform are not as cumbersome as that of the Nigerian Stock Exchange, where companies are required to provide at least 5 years financial performance of such company and other criteria before they are listed. For the NASD OTC market platform, all that is required is just an information that can guide investors into what is happening in that company and where the company is heading to. And so it will be better for investors to look at all this market. We have the NASD OTC market platform, we have the Nigerian Stock Exchange, we have the FMDQ Securities Exchange, where majority of its transactions there are in the money market instruments. Of course, there are other securities that are traded on the FMDQ OTC market platform, which will attract both good return to the investors. We'll be looking at some of this return to the investors in subsequent reports in order to guide our investors on how they can take advantage of any of these platforms. Of course, because the Nigerian Stock Exchange has been on for years, that is the more reason why the equity being transacted on that floor is more visible and is more than what can be seen in other platforms. But what is important is for any investors to know where he or she wants to invest in and how long he or she wants to be in such investment. We'll be looking at them, taking them from the primary level to the secondary level, where we can educate the viewers on how to invest, where to invest, and when to exit when there is need for such. That's the much we'll take for now. Over to you, Tomisin.
Many thanks, Kenny.
Another day when we'll be looking at all this.
All right, thank you very much, Kenny. Do have a blessed day. Yes, we're back here in the studio, and that was Kenny Adiaga giving us the business report for today. Let's take this quick musical break. When we come back, Darlington Agwalma joins us on the table, and we're looking at some of the trending stories in the polity today. We're back.
As I dey hustle every day, I dey hustle, I dey pay. Me Baba bless my way. Can't let it back to the jail. Cause money makes it life. Now hard work be the prize, oh. No time to dey sleep. So brother man make you hustle tight. Cause if you don't get money, friends no go there. You no get it by your pay no go stay. Baba answer my prayer, make you no go take. Go la la me, go riba me shake. Now go take it and I get am. $10 get steady, I get them too. Big get it leggy, I get them too. Now go to get the money, I won't get them too. The video get there and I get them too. All I mean they get there and I get them too. Wheezy get handy, I get them too. Now go to get the money, I won't get them too. Go to me jacking low, go to me jacking low, go to me jacking low. Go to me man jack go down low. Go to me jacking low, go to me jacking low. Jọ̀wọ́ answer my prayer. Can I hear my feel me jẹlẹ o? Mo ti gbàdúrà mo ti tàbẹ́là o. So baba why am I ask out? You no go bad, you no go bad o. If I carry mama go to Dubai o. Push it back make I buy a big car o. Yeah o, you no go bad o. Push it store o, buy to Adiza. Buy to Ẹ̀pà, èmi náà fẹ́ jẹ pizza. Fún mi ló wá pé Kánò go. Iye fẹsẹ̀ ṣàkiri ládùúgbò o. Ajé olókun o wa. Ajé ọlọ́sà. Ajé máa gbére mi bọ̀. Ajé wá orí mi jẹ́ kí n lọ. Orí mi jẹ́ kí n lọ́la o. Orí mi jẹ́ kí n lọ. Òní ni má jẹ́ kó dọ̀la o. Orí mi jẹ́ kí n lọ. Orí mi jẹ́ kí n lọ́la o. Orí mi jẹ́ kí n lọ. Òní ni má jẹ́ kó dọ̀la o. Áńgẹ́lì mi dà o. Lombo aláàánú mi dà o. Olóore mi dà o. It is really hard to survive. I'm a Sunni 232, my G to body 5. 4 boys, 1 girl, or 1 cup of rice. But I believe we one day beat the dollar, I'm a rise. Obviously, fact in the doctor, I'm a musician, I won't be. If not for God, I'm on the medicine, if I'm a stud. Don't feel anything to back up, I'm ready to support you. But go to let me sing on my need, Latin lost stars. Started like a joke, but not when you can't make sense. Oh, when you can't make sense. I've seen many shit like a process. Oh, God Almighty, Lord, do him on my process. Ajé olókun wa, ajé máa gbére mi bọ̀, ajé wá wọlé mi jọ, ṣe ya, áńgẹ́lì mi dà o, olóore mi dà o, ànídé ọ̀sà lẹ́nu, BBL on this one, all are plenty, don't boy, Backlad Entertainment.
BBL on the mix, baby.
Silent on me,
answer me, oh, all about you, come at you, master plan, give me the plan, glory give me the glory, Badura mi, kilo la wa, Badura mi, kilo ba ti ṣe o. Bakale male, ki ba won ko, owó ya le mi o, dandan. Orí ya mi ele ko, gbà mí o, ẹlẹ́dàá mi o, láyé. Dákun ṣàánú mi, láyé. Kí n lówó lọ́wọ́, láyé. Kiri bá ti ṣe o, láyé. Ẹlẹ́dàá mi o, láyé. Dákun ṣàánú mi, láyé. Kí n ṣoríire, láyé. Kí n lè rọ́nà gbégbá o, láyé. Mi ò fẹ́ ṣáko bàtà láyé, no. Bàbá gbàdúrà mi, Kikore yele, kikori wale, kikola wale, kikowo wale, kidansi yo, kidansi yo, Ojo ibuku kora lebi yo, kora lebi yo. Ṣàánú mi, ẹlẹ́dàá mi yo, láyé. Dákun ṣàánú mi, láyé. Kí n lówó lọ́wọ́, láyé. Kiri bá ti ṣe o, láyé. Ẹlẹ́dàá mi yo, láyé. Dákun ṣàánú mi, láyé. Baba bá mi já, ṣẹ̀kẹ̀ṣẹ̀kẹ̀ mi lọ. Baba bá mi gbé o, ẹrù mi kò fúyẹ́. Bá mi ṣe kókó pẹ́ o, kálẹ̀ yìí kó tó lẹ́ o. Owó mi kò dé, kọ́lá mi kò dé. Ní ńláńlá o, ńláńlá o, Make a dance o, make a move o, Baba. Orí bá mi ṣe kí rọ́nà gbé gbà. Ẹlẹ́dàá mi o, láyé. Dákun ṣàánú mi, láyé. Kí n lówó lọ́wọ́, láyé. Kiri bá ti ṣe o, láyé. Ẹlẹ́dàá mi o, láyé. Dákun ṣàánú mi, láyé. Kí n ṣoríire, láyé. Kí n lè rọ́nà gbégbá o, láyé.
Mixing in the Foster.
Styling music, baby. Styling on it. Classic thing, you know.
Talent kó wá bá Àdìgún ọmọjọmọ lọ ìrìn bá kọrin ìpàtẹ fún kan. Talent kó wá bá Àdìgún ọmọjọmọ lọ ìrìn bá kọrin ìpàtẹ fún kan. Ìṣe mákẹ́tì fẹ́ pàrọ̀ ẹ̀rù lọ́jà bó ṣe pọ̀ tó. Ìṣe mákẹ́tì fẹ́ pàrọ̀ ẹ̀rù lọ́jà bó ṣe pọ̀ tó. Bashiri, make a fee go London 100 times in a year. Bashiri, make a fee follow Rihanna, one Bali. Bashiri, like it calculate my money. Bashiri, like it machine calculate my money. Bashiri, like my fee Bugatti fishes, Bashiri, like my fee Lamborghini fishes, alright. It's okay, now I realize say time no day. Alright, it's okay, Papa me okay, do your grace. Alright, it's okay, now I realize say time no day. Alright, it's okay, Papa me okay, she okay. Bashiri mi, gbogbo sadaka tí mo yàn, jẹ́ kó wà lójọ́ náà. Bashiri mi, gbogbo náfìlà tí mo yàn, jẹ́ kó di ìbádà. Bashiri mi, gbogbo àwẹ̀ tí mo gbà, jẹ́ kó di ìtẹ́wọ́gbà. So tell all my family no go fit do without me. So tell all my problem, go dey get remedy. So tell anything I touch, go turn to gold. So tell everywhere I go run the show. I go dey fowó ṣeré like King Solomon. I tún máa bọ́mọ ṣeré like King Solomon. I go popular pass, popular jingo. People go dey wonder why, what's the man? Na so the thing go. Bashiri mi, like it calculate my money. Bashiri mi, like it machine calculate my money. Bashiri mi, like it my fee Bugatti fishes, Bashiri mi, like it my fee Lamborghini fishes, alright, it's okay, now I realize say time no day. Alright, it's okay, Papa me okay, do your grace. Alright, it's okay. Now I realize it, I know it. Alright, it's okay. Papa me look at okay. You don't promise me, say, anywhere I go, Baba, you cover me. Anytime, anywhere, you be champion, competition for free.
Olumix on the mix.
As a people with one song, with one voice, we're a nation undivided and poised. We will take us down and build our land in faith to defend what is ours. Here we are as a people with one heart for one cause. We're determined to rebuild and restore. Where freedom rise and truth prevails. Our land where there's hope for us all. Our land where there's hope for us all. We'll defend our land. We believe in this nation, and we know we'll get there. We'll defend our land. We believe in Nigeria and the promise she holds, and that one day we'll shine like the sun. We're a great nation. Though we are many people, different tribes, different tongues, we're united in our strength and resolve to uphold the honor of our land and for generations to come, and for generations to come. We'll defend our land. We believe in this nation, and
Welcome back. It's still the Bumper Breakfast Show, and hope you enjoyed that musical break. We're back here and we're talking first of all about housing. Now, urban centers are reading with quite a number of challenges. You find that even within the urban centers, so many people have what they call housing challenges. For some, they were gainfully employed, they had houses, and then after that, they were no longer gainfully employed. So as a result, take their children, sometimes their families, and begin to hang around, and then they enter into a form of housing challenge that finally sometimes takes them to the slums and sometimes under the bridges. You see a well-read person who does not have a house, and you keep wondering and asking yourself, how did we get here? Joining us to discuss the urban centers and the menace of housing challenges that is reading almost all the urban centers across Nigeria and Africa today is Mr. Ayo Adejumo. Mr. Adejumo, coincidentally, is a town planner, so he understands exactly what it is like to be, in that space and to resolve some of those problems. Hello, good morning, sir.
Good morning.
Good morning, sir.
Good morning.
How are you today?
I'm very good. Thank you very much.
Hope you are doing better. Coincidentally, the World Habitat Day for 2020 comes with the theme Housing for All, a Better Urban Future. And that, for me, is one of the biggest things any community, any government must be focusing on today. So let me begin by saying that having a home, an adequate home now, is more than ever a matter of life and death. Is more than an issue that must be resolved as quickly as possible. Am I correct?
Very correct.
Now, with COVID-19, of course, has come a lot of issues. People are spreading, people are running, people are hiding, and then 2020 has brought another challenge. I must say that people's income has dwindled. So being able to even get affordable housing now is a bigger challenge. If you will prescribe a solution to some of this, especially looking at Lagos, for example, what will be?
Thank you very much. COVID-19 has actually taught us a lesson when it comes to urban planning and housing. You will discover that nobody actually expected that there would be COVID-19. Even as of January, there hadn't been any much news
indication
as regards COVID-19. But by March, it dawned on everybody that this thing has actually coming, and so we have to accommodate it and manage it. And a big lesson that it sent to us is that housing is important.
Yes.
We were forced to stay at home. Nobody could go out. Everything we were doing was at home, working from home or working at home, whichever. And it became a very serious issue. And we discovered that housing is important. That means you can live in the house, you can work from the house, and you can recreate from the house. All this we were able to do together.
Yes,
during that
COVID-19,
everybody was locked down. So it shows that housing is important to everyone. Very, very important. And government, the private sector, everybody should be involved in matters of housing. COVID-19 has seriously told us that indeed we need to take housing very serious and very important.
But that's one infrastructure that we seem to be lacking a lot on right now. Gone are the days of when we were growing up. Okay, you didn't grow up in Malaysia, but I'm sure that you're familiar with all those housing estates that are around Lagos right now, owned by government. Some Enang or Etan is one, a very good one example. Just in Ogba here, you have one on the way to Igodo, somewhere around Igodo.
Yes.
If you're living in Sherry, going towards Igodo, and that exists. There's another one. So there were housing estates. What I'm saying is, even in the interior parts of town and the country, there were houses that were owned, housing estates. People who say they grew up in a housing estate, you know. But today is a totally different thing. Those things either don't exist or are dilapidated to a point of needing urgent attention.
Yes, government is actually trying, you know, and it has provided friendly environment for the private sector to come in and support its efforts in housing provision. It's a known fact that government alone cannot provide all the housing needs of its citizens. And so private sector has come in. It's an thing all over the world for private sector to come in and complement efforts of the government. Yes, and that's why you see private estates even all over the place. Yes, and
is that normal or is that a Nigerian thing?
No, it's normal. That's why I say it's an thing all over the world.
Oh, okay.
The private sector has come in to support and complement government's efforts.
Okay.
Because, like I said, government alone cannot provide all the housing needs for its citizens, and it's a thing all over the world that you know, government has appreciated. And so government is trying to create conducive business environment because the developers are putting in their money for the development of these houses, and they are doing business. So for their business to thrive and as a complement to the efforts of the government has a duty to provide good environment for the developers to come in and provide housing. And so that's why you can see government housing estates and private housing estates all over. So, but it's another thing for the members of the public that are interested in them to be able to afford
the housing.
Yes. Okay. So that's another thing entirely. So you can see that government in its own part is making efforts to provide a level playing field for the developers to come in. And many developers have actually tapped into that. And that's why we see a lot of housing estates all over
the place.
Yes. So the issue that I just raised now is another
thing. It's the money issue.
Okay, now still talking about this housing, because just like you said, it's enough that if the government is doing all it takes to actually provide housing for the people, and like you said affordability is one thing, and what about sustainability?
Sustainability?
Yes.
Yeah, that's another challenge that we have in the housing sector, and it is actually peculiar to this part of the world. In the other climes, governments and the private sector and all stakeholders in the housing sector have been able to manage and sustain the housing sector to a very reasonable extent. But you know, as Africans, we have the challenge, and that's why we always say that we have a what do you call it, maintenance culture. Our maintenance culture is very low, and it's not only in housing alone, even in our vehicles, individuals, you know. So we have that challenge of sustainability. There are some housing estates that you will see commissioned some years, very few 5 years. Go to them, see them. They are already dilapidated, you know, and there's
that
no
brings me
good
to the issue of the
culture.
quality.
Yes, if there was no proper management and control during construction, we are trying to see something like that.
Okay,
because the issue of quality control may not be there,
but
and that still boils down to what I just said, that it's about African mentality, you know, where we need to do things right.
Okay.
The problem is that we don't usually do things right.
All right, that will actually bring me to the question of regulation, because I know that their bodies are responsible for all of these things in Lagos. And if looking at Lagos as a case study, as an example, if we should take a look at the island, we have some houses there with like 8-story building, 10-story building. And in recent times, if we should look at the collapse history we've been having in recent times, most of them is coming from the island, looking at it. And when I take a look at some of these buildings, I see they are nothing to write home about. No maintenance, like you said. Now, these people that are regulating, or the body regulating the housing sector in Nigeria or Lagos, are they not doing enough? Is it like they are not actually keeping tabs with all of this building and the people in there?
You will discover that, or you may know that Lagos Island is one of the first core areas of Lagos, and it's actually the Lagos. They call it Eko. You know? So the buildings there have been built for years.
Yes.
They are very, very old buildings, and they have been built before the present regulations
came into
place. So it's just to manage them and see how the regulations can be applied to them to sustain them to manage, because they have been there before the regulations came. So government is just trying to see that these buildings, they are accommodated within the framework of the regulations. They can't demolish them. They can't demolish them. So it's just to manage them and see that they are sustained.
Because I would have wondered where, Kemi, I would have wondered why it seemed as if the government was just turning a blind eye. Now I understand you that maybe because they were created and
even
built before
and
the regulations
some people
came
already
into place.
before then, maybe some few individuals already tagged them their names or their or they have a steel code to any of the buildings or something, which I don't know. Yeah, truly. But then I still would ask that, despite the fact that, okay, let's assume that these buildings are already there before the regulation and everything, and you said that they can they can't just
demolish
them. But what if they need demolition?
Yes, and that's why you see these days that some buildings are marked for demolition.
Marked and never demolished.
And never demolished.
No, you can't say that. You can't say that. You can't say that they are not demolished. Everything has a process.
Okay.
Yes, government cannot just mark a building today and go there the following day to demolish.
So what's the time frame between the time?
The regulation has already stipulated the time frame. Notices will first be served on the property owner to inform him of the decision of the government.
And then they take the government to court.
That's another thing. And our court process, the judiciary process, it can delay the government intention.
And then when it now falls down,
When it now falls down, they start blaming the government.